All right, so this is going to be the Working with Polynomials Part 1 review. This is the exam review. So, and this is my class, third hour.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, there we go. All right, so come on, at least fake some enthusiasm, all right? So people think that this class is exciting. Okay, so write an expression equivalent to this right here. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do the distribution. I'm going to do it a bunch of times too. So I'm going to do it. So how many times do I have to do the distribution?
3.
It's going to be 3. So it's going to be multiplied here, 1, and that times 2, and then that's going to be the third. So there's going to be 3. So let's go ahead and start by putting the 3, distribute the 3 into there. So that's going to give me
12.
plus 21. Very good. So I'm going to multiply times the next one now, which is x minus 5. Okay. So let's go ahead and,
12x.
so we get 12x squared, right?
Yes.
And then it's going to be
Minus
60. Yeah, 60x plus 21x and minus 105. 105. And then I can combine in the middle. So I should have 12x squared minus 39 x minus 105. And I still have to distribute that last one, which is x plus 8. Do I have another page here? Hold on. Okay, so yeah, I'm going to insert because I want to have enough page here. Page after. Okay, so it's the 12x squared minus
39x minus 105.
And that's going to be times
X
plus 8?
Mm.
Okay. So is everyone at least following along? You know what I'm doing?
Yes.
Okay, because some people aren't writing anything down, but I'm hoping that we are going to get there. So even if you aren't writing it down, you still know what we're doing, so we can get some out of it. All right, so now this one, I could do the distribution either way. It's the 3 to the 1 to the 2 or the 2 to the 3. I'm going to do the 2 to 3 because it's easier. So you only have to do it twice versus this one's going to be 3 times. So I'm going to do this. Multiply that.
12x cubed.
Yeah, there you go. 12x cubed. And then minus 39x squared minus 105x. All right, so now I'm going to multiply the 8. So I have to distribute the 8 into it the same way. So the 8's going to be there. So 8 times 12x squared, 96 x squared, right?
Yeah.
96 x squared. Because there's already an x squared here, there's no x's over here, so it stays x squared. And it's positive, right? Now, if you notice what I did, I'm lining up my x squareds so I could actually combine like terms as soon as I'm done. All right, so now multiply here. So negative 39x times 8, that is,
Negative 312.
yes, negative 312. X. Yep, negative 312x. And then my last one is going to be negative 105 times 8, that is negative 840. Negative 840. There you go. So we're combining like terms now. So there's nothing to combine with that x cubed. So 12x cubed. And this is going to be a plus. So negative 39 and a 96 is going to give me 63?
50.
50?
57.
57? Okay. It's going the wrong direction. So 57x squared. And the negative 105 and the negative 312.
417.
Okay, so 417x. And then just bring down that last one. All right, so for you on your exam, you have to make sure you distribute this, and this is going to be a multiple choice type of answer. So it is possible to have answers on there already. So if you do your distribution correctly, you should get one of the answers. All right? Okay, that was the first one. Next one, polynomial q is a function of x. The graph of q has 4 zeros at here, here, and here. So right now, let's talk about this first. If I say that's a 0, we can go by yesterday's notes. What would I write if that is a 0 of it?
X.
X what? You're really close. There's one word that's missing there. Anyone would help out? If that's one of the zeros, what do I write? No? X equals. That's all I need. X equals. So this is where they cross the x-axis, right? So if this was my graph, this is where they cross the x-axis. So I would say that x equals 0, right? And so what would I do to turn that into a factor? Is this already a factor? Yeah, it already is a factor, right? Because you would just add 0 to both sides, x plus 0 is 0, right? Okay, so this next one will actually make it a little bit easier. So this next one's going to be x equals negative 5. So this will be easier to write as a factor now. What would I do to turn this into a factor?
You add 5 to both sides.
So add 5 to both sides. So let's go ahead and do that. So plus 5, so I get x plus 5 equals 0. So my factor is going to be x plus 5. Okay, so what is the next one going to tell me?
X is equal to negative 3 4.
So x equals negative 3 over 4. Now, I'm going to do this one 2 different ways. Okay, I want you guys to do it the basic way first. What would I do? Add 3/4, right? So add 3/4. So x plus 3 over 4 equals 0. So that is one of my factors also. But I also could have written it a different way. So we can clear out the fraction first.
4x.
So watch this. Yeah, it will be. So if I clear out the fraction, so let's say x equals negative 3 over 4. To clear out the fraction, there's a fraction right here in the denominator. I'm going to multiply both sides by 4. Times 4 times 4. So I get 4x equals negative 3. Add 3 to both sides. So 4x plus 3 equals 0. So there's one of my factors. So I could have written it like that also. And the last one's going to be 7, right? So I would write x equals 7. So what is my factor going to look like? X minus 7? All right, so here's my different combinations I'm going to have. So my first one should be easy. So it should be x. My next one should be x plus 5. My one after that is going to be x plus 3 over 4, or 4x plus 3. It could be written either way, and it'll still be correct. Because if you set each one equal to 0, I'm going to still get the same answer. And my last one's going to be x minus 7. Okay, so let's go through and look now. Which ones will work? Which one automatically works? Any of them automatically work? A? Let's see. It has an x plus 5. Do I have x plus 5?
Yeah.
Okay, it has an x plus 3 over 4.
Yeah.
Okay, x plus 3 over 4, which is right here, right?
Mhm.
X minus 7.
Yeah.
Okay, got x minus 7. But what's in front?
And negative x.
Negative x. So is that one right? No, it's not right because that negative x is going to mess it up. Okay? So if there is a 0, what does that negative actually do for me though? So if I go back and look at my graph, actually I will bring up a graph on this one. So you guys, if you did grab your calculators, let's look at those real quick. Hopefully it's going to make it pretty easy because this one is a interesting part to the question. Hopefully this works. Didn't want to work yesterday. Or it worked a little bit, but that's not very good. All right, so if you could please, I'm going to take each one of these and graph it to see. So start with this first one to see if that one works. You're starting with the first one. That's the wrong calculator. Still loading. All right, it worked. Okay, so I'm here now. All right, so I'm on my scratch pad. So in the scratch pad, you guys make sure you clear it out. How did I clear it out?
Dog.
Doc and letter B. So you cleared it out. Let's go ahead and enter that. Negative x, parentheses, x. What was my function?
Plus 5.
Plus 5. Very good. Plus 5. Close. Open.
X plus 3 over 4.
Plus 3 over 4. And x minus 7. There we go.
See? Mm-hmm. Says the same. Invalid.
There we go. All right, I had to put a times in there. I didn't like that one. All right, so if I'm looking at this, looking at my graph, so I actually have to be looking at the graph to do this. Okay, it crosses the x-axis right here, which is where? Let me go trace to show you. So it crosses at 0. Was that one of my answers? Okay. What was the other answer I had? Positive 5 or negative 5?
Negative 5.
So I'm going to type in negative 5. Negative 5. Look, it's right there. It crosses at negative 5. What was this one over here?
Negative 3/4.
Negative 3 over 4. Does that work? Okay, we already know the 0. And what was this one over here?
Positive 7.
Positive 7. So hit 7. So does it have the same thing there? Does it have the same points where it crosses the x-axis? The answer is yes. But because there's a negative right here, it just changes direction. Is it changing where it's actually crossing the x-axis?
No.
No. It's not changing where it crosses the x-axis. And this is only asking select all that applies. So that means that there is going to be more than one answer. So it's crossing the x-axis at all these points. So this one, A, is going to be true. A is going to be true. Oh, man, what? I said A, didn't I? Oh, come on, brain. There we go. Okay, so now let's look at one of these other ones. Okay, so if we're looking at these other ones, let's look at the, is it positive 5? Is it 4x plus 3?
Yes.
Yeah. Is it minus 7? X minus 7? Okay, and does this one work also? Let's see. If I do the math on it, so we're going to say negative 4x equals 0, right? Divide both sides by negative 4. Zero divided by negative 4 is still 0, so x equals 0. So is that one going to be true?
Yes.
That one's also going to be true. Just because that there's a negative 4 out front, it's not going to change that it's going to cross. It's just going to change the direction of my graph, but it's still going to cross at those same points. Okay. Is x minus 5 true?
No.
X plus
Yes.
3 over 4 and x plus 7?
No.
No, it's not going to work because this one's a no. X minus 5? That's a no also. The only one that works there is there and there, right? So those ones aren't going to work, so that one's not. What about my next one down here for D? X plus 5?
Yeah.
Yes. 4x plus 3? X minus 7?
No, that one. Yes.
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 But not the cubes.
It is cubed, isn't it? What does the cube mean? We did this yesterday. What does the cube mean?
Go 3 times.
3 times, right? So 3 times, but it's all going to be x equals 7. All 3 of them is going to be x equals 7. So that one is going to be a yes. Because right here, it's just each one of those is going to be x equals 7. So that one's a yes. And what about the negative 4x?
Yes.
Yes, that one's a yes also. Now let's look at E. Is that 4x? Does that 4x work?
Yes.
Yeah. X plus 5?
Yes.
3x plus 4?
No.
No. X minus 7? Yeah. So because that one's a no, it means the whole thing's a no. So there is some work involved in with this, so I'm hoping you guys are understanding what I'm doing. I showed you how to use the calculator, so maybe you might actually do that. All right. Find all values of x that makes this equation true. Set it equal to 0, right? So didn't we just do that? I thought we just zero product, right? So on this one, what is this going to tell me? What is that going to tell me right there? Positive 6, right? That's going to be one of my factors. So I'm going to say that x equals positive 6. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, what about this one?
X would be equal to.
Good. Can I set it equal to 0 and do the math?
Yeah.
Let's do that. Let's set it equal to 0. So 9x minus 2 equals 0. So I'm just going to use that and actually do the math for it. So I'm going to do what to both sides?
Add.
There you go. Add 2, 9x equals 2.
Divide by 9.
Divide both sides by 9. 2 over 9. So x equals 2 over 9. What about that last one?
Then x equals 5.
So this is going to be x equals
Negative 5.
x equals negative 5, right? What about this negative 7 out front?
X equals 0.
Let's see. Can we set it equal to 0?
Yeah.
Okay, let's try it. Does negative 7 equal 0? No. The reason why that doesn't work is there's no variable out front. It was different when I was doing these ones over here where I had an x, right? Those are x's where it was going to give me a value. But this is just saying negative 7 is equal to 0? No. So that one goes away. Wow, wait, did that? That was cool! It's never done that before.
Really?
I've had this thing for a couple years and it's never done that. Wow. Okay.
Let's keep it going.
All right, let's get back to math. All right, so my values of x. All values of x. How many values of x do I have here? 3. That's it. So you need to have all those. Find horizontal intercepts. So, horizontal intercepts. So what do you think a horizontal intercept is?
The intercept in the y axis.
X-axis, right? The x-axis where it's a 0. The horizontal intercept, all these things have the same name. So, is it just basically doing the same thing we just did?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do that. So right here we're going to get x equals
X equals negative 3 over 5.
negative 3 over 5. To make sure I did that right, what would that be? Just set it equal to 0, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What about the next one?
X equals 2.
And my last one?
X equals 5.
There we go. There's my points. Okay, state the end behavior. So I'm going to come back to the end behavior here in a moment. I'm going to come back to that because I want to graph it first. So I know it's crossing here, right? It's crossing, it's touching there, there, and there. That's so cool. All right. Okay, so negative 3/5, positive 2, positive 5. Negative 3/5, which is right about here. Positive 2, which is here. And positive 3, 4, 5, right here. Now, I need to go back. There you go. Haha, there we go. All right, so how many x's am I going to have in this function?
3.
I have 1, 2, 3, 4. Because remember, this thing right here said there's 2 of them there, right? So there's 4 altogether there. So now, think about it. What is x to the 4th going to look like? Both up, right? But in this case, what does this make it do? Both go down. Very good. So both are going to go down. So I know end behavior, both are going to go down. So end behavior, oh, hey, look. There we go. Both are going to go down. But what did we do with this thing yesterday? What did it do? This is specific to this problem. What did that do yesterday? Whenever we had an x squared, you could look at yesterday's notes with me, B. When we ever had that x minus 2 squared, what did it do? I got my 0, but what did it do? It made a special shape. Yes. What was that? Just did that, right? So it went down, touched the line, and came back up. So it just bounced off the line. So it didn't cross through the line. It just bounced off the line. So some of the other teachers and students actually just, we call it a bounce. So that one's, it's just going to bounce off the line. So I know that there's going to be a bounce here. Okay, that's important. So that's important for my shape. My end behavior, we said both have to go down. So it's going to go down here, right? So it's going down, it's coming through here. Now at 2, it goes here. It bounces back up. Like that. So there's my end behavior, isn't it? My end behavior, both of them are down. And at 2, it had to make a bounce. So I know what is happening at the end. So it crossed through here, came to 2, bounced off, came back up. There we go. So now that I have a sketch of it, what's the end behavior? So what is the left side of this?
Negative.
And my right?
No. Yeah, negative infinity.
They both go to negative infinity, right? Because they both go down, don't they? They both go down to negative infinity. All right, now the student comes up with this graph. What did they do wrong?
They didn't account for the square.
The square, okay, so what was that? So I mean it didn't bounce right there, right? So is this one correct? Is the point correct?
Yeah.
Point's correct? Point's correct? Okay, so they didn't account for the square at this. So we have 2 things wrong. So the end behavior, so the left end behavior
Should go down.
should be and it did not bounce at what? 2. Super easy.
Very
I'm hoping you guys got this. Hopefully it's going to be a lot better. These test scores are going to be great. You guys are going to do amazing. I'm going to get like 500 views because y'all going to watch the crap out of this and be all over it tomorrow, right? Okay, so what did I say? I said tomorrow's test, Fridays, turn in your notebook, right? So after you're done with the quiz, you could work on the notebook also. So don't forget, like, share, and subscribe. Hit notification button, right?